really big legs? Would we be skinnier so that we would adapt better to lesser gravity? Would we be smaller people? Would your eyes be really big bug eyes if the sun was really dim? Probably, just so that you can see properly. What would your skin feel like if the sun was 4 times hotter? And would you have fur if the sun was 5 times cooler? All of these factors determine the creature that you are. We are like we are because of where we live. Exactly. Any changes, and you're going to be different. You're not going to be looking like this, and I certainly wouldn't look. I would scare the heck out of you. How big would your chest be if the air was so thin that you really had to breathe deep? Would you have gills? And if gravity was weak, would we have huge, huge bottoms and legs just simply to hold us to the ground? In most cases, that would probably be true. And then we have to face the reality of how far these worlds are away. We can accept that they exist, and we can accept that there may be 20 million of them in our own neighborhood, our very close Milky Way galaxy. How do we know, and how do we get there? Even a trip to our closest star, this graphic represents the 20 closest stars to Earth. And I've pointed out with the orange arrow Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri, which are the 2 closest stars to Earth. And they're 4.5 light years away. The chart below tells you that if you walked to Alpha Centauri, I'm not sure why you want to do that, it would take you 1 million years to get there. That's ludicrous, obviously. But look at Voyager 1, 37,000 miles per hour, which is the typical velocity of both our spaceships and meteors that fly through the atmosphere. So it's just about the maximum speed that can be sustained without propulsion going to a distant object. It takes 76,000 years to get to that particular star. That's Alpha Centauri. We have not found a protoplanet, exoplanet, going around that particular star. And then our Milky Way that we're in, that I keep talking about, our neighborhood is even more huge. We won't even get into the numbers. But you can see some of 15,000 light years represented by that tiny short arrow right there. 15,000 light years. We're not talking years anymore. Light traveling at 186,000 miles a second, that's how far it'll travel in 1 year. And you take 15,000 light years times 186,000, and that's how long it would take you in years to make that little tiny short trip right there to the next star. And then the entire galaxy is 220,000 light years across. And then it's 2.5 million light years to the next galaxy. Let's go back to old 51 Pegasi. 50 light years away, we're going to turn on our FM radio stations on December 1st and listen to what they call rock and roll. It would take us 50 years to get to that star. And that is our closest lifelike exoplanet. So in closing, the reality of all this is we know the planets are out there. And we know that if there are Earth's own planets, there are Earths. There are 20 million Earths in our own Milky Way galaxy. We need to rest tight and realize that they are out there, because the reality is that someday we may come to the realization that we may meet them. We may know that these people, it's not just people, creatures. We don't know that they would even be people. They are out there, and they may actually be very much like us. Thank you very much. Any questions? Realistic questions. Any questions or comments? Nobody? Everybody knows everything. Okay.
I've got two. One, how did we prove there was no space to the Big Bang?
Okay. You want